This is not a lesson, it's just a breakdown of basically what I use when I'm playing, there you go, in videos or on stage. So as you can see on screen now, we've got the pedal board which shows you everything which I use. I'll give you a rundown of that in just a second. So then from all of that, we are going into this here, which is the Headrush FRFR, so full range flat response, I think. 108 Mark II. So this I have with the low pass filter pressed in, so that basically drops some of the lows out of it, because there's a lot of bass in this thing. So when you're using it from like a modelling setup into that with your guitar and then no other standard guitar amp, it can be a bit boomy, but if you press that in, it sounds flipping great, to be honest. There's a slight hiss from it, you know, not too much, not more, not that you're going to get any less than that from a standard amp, but it's definitely bearable, which is good. You can probably hear it now. I don't know, that was stuff on the roof as well, but anyway, so the sound you're hearing is basically, not basically, it is just from that, with my Rode Video Mic Pro, which is a shotgun one on top of the camera that I'm looking at you guys. And that is it. So I'll give you a little rundown of the sounds that I use and what the pedal board does. And the pedal board, by the way, is by Temple Audio, and they are extremely good boards. And yeah, you know, you can't go wrong. Nice one. There we go. Let's give you a little rundown now. So this is the way the pedal board sets up. So from the tuner, or into this side mini mod that I've put in, into the tuner, into the wah-wah, then we go into the Plexi drive, which is a Wampler one, a Moxie, which is again Wampler, straight from that into the Wampler Terraform, from the Terraform into my Tonex, which is where all my amp sounds are coming from, and I'll go through that in just a second. So out from that into the reverb, which I rarely use, but I've got it set to a shimmer, so that's quite nice for clean stuff. And then into the delay, which is always on with a slight just sort of slap back, very minimal, just to try and thicken the sound up a little bit. Not that it needs it, but because I'm usually the only guitarist in the band, it's quite nice to almost get that sort of two guitar sound. I mean, you're never going to replicate that easily, but it does make me feel a little bit more reassured, I think. And I think Eddie Van Halen used to use it, so you know, if that's good enough for him, then why not try it, eh? Right, there we go. That is a setup. Let's listen to it now. So at the moment we're using, get onto that again, so this is Jason Sadites. He's got a web channel which I'll link below, where he captures so many decent sounds. There's loads of sites out there, but I really like the Jason stuff because it just sounds good. Simple as that. So anyway, this is the Soldano Clean. Find a bit of chorus onto that coming from the Terraform. Right, so I'll turn that off, and then basically what I can do is with a Moxie, that's my clean setting, it's got a little bit of crunch to it, so it's pushed slightly, and then I'll bring in the Moxie, Plexi coming in. So nice setup of sounds on that with the clean, going with a Moxie, and the Plexi. Just sort of saturates a lot more with the Plexi obviously, but it gives you a good range of tones. Right, so if I go on to the patch B of the Tonex, this is a Marshall JCM 800. So I'll use this for a lot of the rhythm sort of sounds. Clean up quite nicely as well. In that Moxie with that JCM 800. Maybe just bring in the Plexi. I wouldn't do this live, but it's got a bit of bite. And then for solos, I will just usually whack in channel C, which is the same setting that we're on at the moment on patch B, just with a little bit more compression to boost it slightly. So feedback, love it. So that's the setup. Yeah, that's it. That's all I use. There's a lot going on, obviously, but it's a fairly simple board in that term. So, and as I said, with the Tonex and the FRFR, take the, if you're using one of these, just press that low cut and it sounds so much better. It's actually usable. Now, live-wise, I've used this a few times and it's really good as an on-stage monitor. Then you go front of house from the Tonex itself. or actually from this, sorry, you go line out from this into the PA system. But I've maxed it out with volume. Basically, the last one I did, we had a drummer called Pete Hemsley who played with Robert Plant and Jimmy Page in Australia, and he's quite a loud drummer, so it did max it out on this. You could still hear yourself, but you were sort of running at max, so I would like a little bit more headroom, so maybe the 12-inch one might be a little bit better. But everyday use and for smaller gigs, along with rehearsals, it's absolutely perfect for what I've got. So I would like to get the Tonex cabinet, or even a Barefaced audio cabinet, but we shall see. We shall see what goes on. But that's the pedal setup, so hopefully you've enjoyed what's going on. With these ones, actually I forgot to mention, I'm running through, got a phaser, I think it's a phaser. All of that stuff. Then we've got Univibe. And then the last one, I think I had Auto Wire, which I need to muck about with a little bit more. But anyway, that is the setup, so hopefully you've enjoyed that, and check out some reviews coming up for that guitar, and that guitar as well. There you go. And that's it. I shall see you all soon. Latest days.